Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Angela, and I am here to do the rest of Ethany's 31 Days of Tarot. I left off on day 24, so I'm going to do 25 through 31, because a lot of them are real short answers. So yeah, let's get into it. So 25 are thoughts on tarot becoming mainstream, and I've watched a few other responses to this, and I agree that with it becoming mainstream, tarot is more easily accepted. You don't have to hide from coworkers, friends, or family. And so for that reason, I don't mind it becoming mainstream. So yeah, that's my response to that. So day 26, share your first professional reading experience, either as a reader or a seeker. And hold on one second, I forgot to pull out that card. Okay, I'm back. I'm looking for that card here. And I'm using the deck I don't like. Just because it was quick and handy. I gotta find it. Sorry. I was prepared for every question but this one. Wow. I was pulling this one out anyway for other prompts. Oh my goodness. It's going to be at the back of the deck. Watch. I don't see it. I may have passed it. Nope. So my very first professional reading I ever had, a friend paid for me to get a reading because they were curious, because I was just starting out my spiritual journey, and she was curious as to what it would be, what someone would say. And there were several cards pulled, but this was the one card that was pulled that I was like, and at the time I just bought my first deck, this deck, and I couldn't have told you what this card meant. Now I know that it's all about choices, the choices we make. And at the time, he saw it as, the different trials I've been through, in my life. And, like there were kind of like 7 specific trials that I had been through in my life that I had passed. And I found that very fascinating, and it resonated with me at the time. He went into detail on each thing that had happened to me. And it was very perceptive and very, very right on. And that just made me realize, I am on the right track with trying to learn tarot. And that kind of stuck with me. This specific card specifically stuck with me through that reading. I couldn't tell you what the other ones were, but this is the one that started the reading, and kind of stayed with me over the last year and a half, 2 years almost. But yeah, that's pretty much that answer. So 27, how do you pick your decks for a reading? And I literally just picked the deck that calls to me. It's a thing where I get up in the morning and the deck, I usually pick it for the week. And Sunday, I will actually do a quick meditation, and whatever deck seems to be calling me at that time is the deck I work with for the rest of the week. So, yeah, that is the answer to day 27. Day 28, which is today. How do you feel about tarot deck modifications? Do you draw on your decks, trim the borders, or is it a no-go for you? And to me, and I've said this in previous videos, I only do a deck mod if the deck feels unfinished. For example, this is the, oh my gosh, Radiant Rider-Waite-Smith. It's the very first deck I ever bought, and I did highlight it in this yellow, on the borders. I hate white borders, and that's possibly why, partially why I don't work with this deck ever. But I have so many other fantastic ones that I would reach for now before I would reach for this one. This RWS. So I don't know. I keep it around just because, it's a reminder to only buy decks that I'm called to work with. But yeah, I did this in this highlighter yellow, and that was partially to see if I could bond with the deck, which did not work. But yeah, I did trim 2 decks. This is the 8 Coins Tattoo Tarot. And I think this deck is beautiful. When I very first started trying to read tarot, I saw this in the Tattoo Ink one. And this one just was more colored. That one's more Marseille style, but I like this one better. This is the original cards. And I trimmed them down to this size. Is that 2? That might be 2. Yeah, that's 2. It was Causing Darkness. That they're trimmed down quite a bit. This is my first trim ever on a deck. I did edge it in this beautiful black. And if you can see, there's actually like a rose design in here. You can't really tell on here, but this deck is gorgeous. But some of the image was cut off a little bit on the outsides, but the middle of the deck, the center of the deck, is the main image, and it stayed with me. It's more like a pocket-sized deck now, which I love it. Love it. Love it. And yeah, this is one of the images that weren't like the original image. This is what all the cards look like, and the white border screamed, cut me off. And then it, of course, said edge me because they were stark white edges. I'm like, you can't have a stark white edge with the black bag. That's just, it's not right. But yeah, I love this deck. It's so cute, and I really haven't worked with it in a while. It is on my list of decks I want to like reacquaint myself with this year. So yeah, that will be, and that's my favorite card in there. Love that. It's coming out of the hand, the growth. Love that. So yeah, it's the 8 Coins Tattoo Tarot on Amazon. Super cheap. And then the second deck I trimmed, because I've only ever trimmed 2, was the Tarot of the She. This was the original size. Now this is the size. This is probably, and I'm almost afraid to trim anymore because, and I edged it in this dark, beautiful purple because there's like a little tiny purple in here. Matches perfectly. But you can never tell this was ever cut. All I did was take the sides off because it's got different names for the suits and it's got keywords. So I kept those just so I would know, because it was still learning tarot. So I would know what card was what. Because I still feel like even if I take that all off, I wouldn't be able to tell what it is. Because to me, it's not Rider-Waite Smith at all. I love this deck though. It's so beautiful. Look at that Nightmare. Ugh, gorgeous. Gorgeous cards. Gorgeous cards. And this one, I was like, oh, when I got it, it almost felt sacrilegious to touch it. And then within a couple days, the bottom of the box was scraping up the edges of the card, so I had to trim it. And then, of course, I saw somebody else do a purple because it was stark white edges again, like that. I'm like, well, it can't stay that way. That's ridiculous. So I edged in this beautiful purple. Look at that, how even that is. It's beautiful. I don't think I could ever replicate that. Part of why I probably won't ever, I don't feel the need to trim another deck. And again, these had these huge borders on them. They were black. I would have lived with the borders. It started rubbing on the bottom of the box and it was horrible. And then the last one I'm going to show you is not trimmed, but it is the Universal Celtic Tarot. And I edged it in this beautiful green. I've edged quite a few of my decks just because it almost seems like they did the deck, they did the backs, and then they stopped with the edges. And the edges are like stark white. And I'm like, ridiculous. These are the backs, and that's why I did the green, because that is gorgeous. Gorgeous. And this is one of my favorite, other than my Light Sears Tarot edging jobs I've done. But that's the only reason I would mod a deck, is if it feels unfinished to me. And this one certainly was one of them. I'm like, as soon as I got it, I'm like, yep, that's getting edged in green. I had to, because, yeah, it just, like I said, it felt unfinished. And I'm like, what about the edges? So, yeah, I edged that one. I've edged quite a few in my deck, so. So that is the long and short answer of day 28. So day 29, what questions do you most often ask the tarot for yourself or for others? I don't do a lot of readings as of yet for others. I do pull a card of the day for myself every day, and the card of the day is basically, what can you teach me today? What can you show me that I need to work on with myself today? And that's pretty much it. If I do go into a deeper thing, I do a week ahead spread also every week. It's the energy, obstacle, and advice for the week. And it's so far since I've been doing that almost a year now. It's been dead on every week. So I won't be stopping that anytime soon. So yeah. That is my answer to 29. 30. Share one of the new things you learned about tarot in the last year. And I didn't pull it out. But I've already probably showed that deck. And yeah, I did show the card. What I've learned more is how to trust myself more in reading the cards. And I'm still learning how to combine mediumship and the tarot. And then I'm also very interested in past lives. And I've been here lately, every time I think about, oh, I need to do this, I need to work on this, all of a sudden I'm seeing videos of it everywhere. So I've been seeing all these past life videos everywhere the last few days. And I've gotten really into that again. So, hopefully that's what 2021 will yield for me, is just getting deeper into that and learning more on how to trust myself and trust the cards. So, yep, that is 30. We're on day 31. Share a tarot deck that you have to break up with. It's the only deck I have that I have to break up with it. It is a deck I got at 5 and below. It was $5. And I've showed this before on my channel. It's called, I think it's just called the Tarot deck. The backs of it, the backs are gorgeous. And I might just repurpose this deck and use it for something else with the backs. I don't know. I edged it in this metallic blue, which it's been like a year. It's still coming off on my hands. The images are super blurry. Super gradiated. I do like this. There's just keywords down here along with the suits. There's a number up here. It's just the images almost hurts my eyes. Because they're so grainy and pixelated. It's literally like, yeah, see that? It's like somebody photocopied this like 100 times and then took the 100th photocopy and put it on here. The cards are like paper, maybe construction paper thick, but they're super flimsy. And I've never been able to work with it ever. It's just, the images almost make me nauseated on this deck. So that's probably the only deck. I mean, I do have the deck that gives me the heebie-jeebies, the first deck I ever bought, which is the Radiant Rider-Waite-Smith, but I will never probably ever get rid of it just because it is the first deck I ever bought. I am digging this sky here right there, but it's still very, very pixelated and granulated. It's awful. Awful. And look at that. It's just like a statue in there. It don't even look like a person laying there. But yeah, this The only thing I love about this deck is the backs. They're beautiful. And it's almost like dressing up a crappy car with loudspeakers and new tires or rims, and it still doesn't run right. That's what this deck feels like to me. It's dressing it up with the back. If they had taken as much care with the back as they did with the cardstock and the images, it would have been a great deck. But other than that, no. So yeah, that is the deck I need to break up with. Or I've probably already broken up with it in my mind because I've never used it. Just haven't gotten rid of it. So that wraps up Anthony's 31 Days of Tarot from me. I actually enjoyed it this year. It was super fun. And I can't wait to see everybody else's, the rest of their 31 Days of Tarot. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you want to see more, please subscribe. And don't forget to hit that notification button so you're alerted to any future videos. And you guys have a great night. Bye.